Hello and welcome to another edition of Press the Action Button podcast on digital-delirium.com. If I sound a little weird this week, it's because I am sick while I'm recording this. So bear with me, I'm doing this anyway. We're doing it double overtime and lockdown.
Yeah, we got this. Double lockdown. How about
Doggy
you?
style.
We have a missing member right now.
Unbelievable.
This has never
But we
happened
do.
before.
Anyway, let's start with introductions. Say hello to the people feedback.
Hey, how's it going, fellas, listeners, Higmo, anybody else who cares to join, listen to our podcast? Thanks.
Also with us is Slacker Chan. Say hello, Slacker Chan.
I hate you all. Not
Comforting.
really.
Comforting.
I just needed something pithy to say.
Well, where's Game Face?
Yeah, where is Game Face?
We've only heard 2 introductions, one of them being Slacker Chan, and not one of them being Game Face.
Isn't that weird? He's not here yet. He will be here at some point.
In
in
4
the
to
untold
7
future.
minutes now.
In the untold
4
future,
7 minutes is
he will barge in here, and so will the kid, and so will Paul, and they will be loud, and we will probably have to put the recording on pause until they are done being loud.
No, let's not do that. A little bit of chaos.
He'll walk in here and be like, Zap Radogans! Wait, what the hell are you guys doing?
Zatarans, red beans and rice.
Yes. Did you say Zap Brannigan?
Yeah! And I realized that, and that's why I went off track, and I was like,
No one can save you now.
No,
except for maybe Zap Brannigan.
Well,
Did you know
obviously,
Zap
Zap
Brannigan was
Brannigan.
written for Phil Hartman?
Is he the voice of
wait.
Troy McClure?
Yeah.
I remember him from such films as The Gummy Bears.
And Leper in the Backfield?
Yeah.
I remember Leper in the Backfield. He got past the ball. He was playing he was like a leper as a quarterback on a football team, and he got the ball and he went back to pass and his arm fell off. That was Leper in the Backfield.
That's horrible. Is that like a spin-off of Angels in the Outfield? Or?
I don't know, but it was hilarious. It was It was on The Simpsons.
I don't know, but do you guys remember Beast Wars?
Yeah, I remember Beast
Vaguely.
Wars.
I'm much more familiar with the original Transformers.
Yes, because that's what they're called, Transformers. I don't know.
It was
I
Transformers
don't know
Beast Wars,
yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, but if you said the full name, you were like, no.
Yeah.
Well, I am more familiar with the original Transformers, the Megatron and
Well, I
Optimus
remember.
Prime.
Well, I remember looking it up like years later when the internet was around. When the internet was more real, because when Beast Wars came out, the internet was like, I don't know, practically nothing. I don't know. Anyway, I just remember looking up about Transformers back when the live-action movie came out, and found out Beast Wars was the most actual, coherent as far as plot and storyline went. Like, all the others, the original Transformers stuff, half of it didn't make sense, and there was a bunch of different storylines or whatever. But, I don't know, I just thought that was interesting. Especially since, the original Transformers Marvel comics, one of them had a crossover with Spider-Man, and I saw a cover of Spider-Man with Optimus Prime, and I was just like, there you go.
No! I want to rate this comic. I bet it's retarded and
It probably
awesome.
is retarded.
And awesome.
Did you guys hear about that new movie coming out called...
Dark of the Moon? Transformers Dark of the Moon?
Well, I was going to talk about cowboys and aliens, but yeah, the Dark of the Moon...
I don't give a
movie
damn about Dark of the
Can-
Moon
can-
because I didn't like the first two.
Can I just say one thing about that real
I don't
quick?
know,
the
can you?
Dark of the Moon. I saw the teaser trailer for it, and you have no idea it was a Transformers commercial towards the very end.
I like
And I
that.
was-
It looked
I was
good.
watching
it
it,
looked
yeah.
really good.
I was looking like, oh, this looks like it might be an original sci-fi movie coming out, and then all of a sudden,
Transformers.
they find they show a Transformers body, and I'm like,
And you went, Michael Bay is involved. All hope is lost.
yes. I was like, oh, good God, this looked like it could have been an original concept, something we haven't seen yet, and it's a new Transformers movie. I need to go kill
There's a
myself.
rumor that he's doing a new live-action Ninja Turtles movie, which would suck balls. And now what we need is something blowing up every time Donatello hits something with his staff.
Dude, all I know is the only Michael Bay film I ever truly liked was The Rock. And a lot of people
was that the one that was in Alcatraz?
Yeah, Nicolas Cage and
Sean Connery.
Right.
Yeah, I
and
kind of like
that
one
wrestler guy,
and a lot of
The Rock. He does the rock bottom on people. He says like if you smell la 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 with the Rock. Is that what you're talking about?
No, not at all. There's a movie called The Rock.
It's like these
Alcatraz
military. It's like this rogue military group.
They
takes over Alcatraz, and they have
a missile on it that has like a extremely deadly nerve gas. And so they send in like Sean Connery, who's an ex-thief. They give him the chance to get out of jail, basically.
And he was original. He's like they sent him in because he was the only person to ever escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah, and he knew the building.
Huh. So they sent him back to Alcatraz.
Basically.
To try to stop these guys.
With the help Nicolas Cage, who was, what was he, FBI or something?
Something like that. You guys want to crack beers?
His job was to defeat.
Yeah, guess who's not getting a beer today?
First of all, Canadian Molson. Because we always got to say what the beer is. Let's crack.
Okay, let's do it. 1, 2.
Oh, where was Game Face on that crack? That he wasn't involved in it. It was just us this time. Hey, and you know what? You know what's better?
He was busy getting something put into his crack.
Oh, okay, joke.
And that's probably him there. Yes, it is. With more beer.
That's Rolling Rock, by the way, that he just brought in. On the
Rolling Rocker!
Since you're here, you want to sit down? You want to introduce yourself before you sit down?
I am Game Face. Yes.
Game
Face, give me a chip.
Has been working on putting together a video of some of the coverage we got from the dealer room.
So,
Yes, it is a sledgehammer.
It's actually looking pretty good, and I'm looking forward to getting it up for you all to see.
Alright, so we're almost 8 minutes into this. Maybe we should do it.
Alex was exactly right. Saying you were 5 to 8 minutes away, and you arrived in, or 8 minutes into the show.
7 minutes.
Yeah, just under 8 minutes. We'll get to the topic after he settles down and sits down.
Okay, so you know how there was a whole cheese pizza left when you left?
Is it still there?
No! And get this, I had like one slice from it. When I went to bed, there was still 7 pieces, 8 slices. I woke up, the pizza was gone, and inside, when I opened the box, there's a bunch of Reese's and Butterfinger wrappers. No, I don't. Schaefer! And Schaefer, as soon as I saw him, he's blaming me for eating his Butterfingers. I'm like, dude, I didn't touch your Butterfingers. And so I think Sean had one of his sleepwalk, eat everything bits.
I managed to be at the library at the exact same time as Schaefer earlier this week.
Oh, yeah.
The
Frederickson Library.
I walked there, and then Schaefer was there, and I was like, Schaefer? He's like, oh, hi, Josh.
Tim.
Yeah.
Slacker Chan.
Yeah.
Chan of the Slacker. You talking about, your brother's sleep eating reminded me of the time that your mom chewed you out for the kitchen being a mess. I'm just sitting in your living room listening to this verbal tirade upstairs, and I hear her say, she says, and I came downstairs to a huge mess in the kitchen today because apparently you decided to have a late night lasagna feast.
And we hadn't
And
even had lasagna either.
I just imagine you at 1 o'clock in the morning with this candle lit and this big pan full of lasagna.
With a little bib in his collar.
I'm not surprised that's the only part you remember, but after that, we were actually in the kitchen when she said that. Right after that, I pointed out the fact that no, it was spaghetti, and 2, it was her plate from last night. And I totally disproved her on her lasagna feast theory. So,
I just wanted to let you know that I won that battle.
yes, I won that battle. Hey, how many battles do you win against your parents? Think about
I
it.
don't fight with my parents.
You don't have to fight with your parents to have a battle. With
No, I don't have any form of verbal, physical, or emotional battle.
Oh, that's not what you tell me anyway.
D-Pad's response mechanism to his parents accusing him of something is to roll his eyes and say, "I have something important to do," pretty much, or
Okay.
just nothing.
Whatever works for you.
Okay, we should move off parents regardless.
Okay, topics? Okay. For those of you who may not have a 3DS, which is probably most or all of you, you already know that it launched. You probably may not know that it launched without the store. The store for it, the online store, is still not up, and it has been delayed till June. Now this is interesting because in early June, that is when E3 is happening, so you could theorize that they're pushing the store back to talk about it at E3. If you didn't already know, they'll have plenty of other stuff to talk about at E3, like a new console. Does this make any sense to anybody else?
Is there a question here? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to...
Why did they launch the 3DS without the online store? Why did they push it back to June?
I don't know. Why did Sony fail and let their PlayStation crash? I don't know.
The PlayStation is not the issue here, Donnie. We're talking about a line in the sand. There's 3DS.
We will get to the PlayStation Network
Okay.
later on, and it's
Anyway.
actually good news for a change.
Okay, anyway,
It's awake.
I don't know. I guess that sounds dumb. Launching a system that's supposed to have an online store,
Yeah.
and there isn't.
I think they were waiting to see if it became another Virtual Boy or not.
Yeah, I gotta say, they're probably just trying to see if it's gonna end up, like, bombing right
It
away.
may very
Nintendo
well
has
possibly
been disappointed with the sales so far.
Because it's like, why waste money on server space and
It was,
maintenance that they might not end up needing at all?
It was it sold 194,000 last month, which sounds pretty good to me for, May.
I know, consider relatively how many people own systems and everything, it's not really that great.
Is he gonna get it?
Initially, I think it sold pretty well, but Nintendo was actually fairly disappointed in the overall sales with the 3DS. I think this might have something to do with it. I mean, if you are going to go and buy this system, you expect it to be fully featured. There's an option already on the 3DS for the 3DS online store where you will be able to download things like virtual console games and stuff like that, but it's not ready.
Well, everyone knew there were certain problems with it. I mean, like, for instance, unless you're looking at it straight, it won't actually be 3D, for instance. But I think probably...
Which makes me wonder why they put a tilt functionality into it.
Regardless of how well it functions or not, I would have to say probably the biggest reason its sales aren't going to do well is this is something you can't really demonstrate to people unless they're there in person. You really can't advertise it, whether how well it works or how well it doesn't work. And unless people get first-hand experience, that's taking a big money gamble when people really don't, they don't have a lot of money to spend, at least in America right now. At least most gamers don't. And if they're going to spend their money on something, they're probably going to spend it on something that's more surefire. Should I spend I don't know how much it is, but example, should I spend $200 on a handheld system that might end up sucking and I have no idea
I think it's 250.
how well it works?
$250 for a handheld?
Wow.
How much was the Game Boy Advance when it came out?
Like $80?
Yeah, I thought it was like 120.
Maybe.
It was a lot less. I know that much.
I
But
remember
this
buying
thing-
it off a friend for like $50 or so
I
with
mean-
the game. You know?
Nintendo was making the same basic mistake that Sony made when they launched the PlayStation Portable. The PlayStation Portable went on to be a good system with a lot of
Definitely.
good games for it. But at launch, it was like $200, and that's just too much for it. I mean, especially when you can get a full Wii, a next-gen console, for, or I guess it's this gen now, whatever, for less than that. The price of the Wii just dropped to $170.
Well, like I was saying about the money, it's like, it really is this way, no matter how much you read about it, it's really to get an accurate demonstration, you have to see it in person. And that's just a big gamble considering when, oh, well, I could gamble my money on this, or I could at most pay $60 for a new video game for my PS3 or Xbox that I can go online and see tons of video reviews about it, you know, and know whether I'm probably going to like it or not.
The launch lineup for the system is also fairly weak. I mean, Nintendo's biggest, like, first-party games or whatever.
Do they have a Mario game?
No.
Do they have a Zelda game?
No.
Do they have a Mega Man game?
No.
What the hell are they doing?
Actually, they have one good title coming out for it, at least that I know of.
What better feature Mario, Zelda, and Mega Man?
No, actually, if
There are some good titles coming up.
it's the first time.
But I'm talking about the launch.
I don't know if it launched with it, but I do know it's the first game Hideo Kojima has ever remade, and it's Metal Gear Solid 3, and he made it for the 3DS.
Yeah, that's coming to the 3DS. There's going to... Rumor has it, and this is not 100% confirmed, it's just something Miyamoto said he wants to do, that he's going to do a full-on 3D remake of Link to the Past. That would get me to buy one.
A 3D remake.
That would get me to buy one. They're also doing a upgraded version of Ocarina of Time for it, and Star Fox 64, which is cool.
That would be cool in 3D.
Star Fox 64 doesn't have online play, which I question, because a lot of people played that game multiplayer. It would just make sense to put it online.
I'm actually not surprised Hideo Kojima is doing that game, because he tends to experiment with the Metal Gear series when it comes to handheld games a lot of the time, if you haven't noticed.
Well, he wasn't a director on Acid, he was the producer.
Yeah, well,
Acid was directed by the same guy that directed the Metal Gear game on the Game Boy Color, which if you haven't played that, I should let you borrow my GameCube, because I'm pretty sure you'd like it.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I think we should move on. Not really much else to say about it, I don't know.
I'm sure the launch lineup had a lot to do with why this thing is not sold up to their expectations. The launch lineup is lackluster. I mean, their two big launch titles are Nintendogs, which is the same thing it was at the launch of the DS, and Pilot Wings, which doesn't have much content to it. That's not much.
You need at least one good launch title, because
it doesn't have a definitive launch title.
Right, and if it doesn't do well initially, then they're not going to want to make that, remake Zelda Link to the Past, so...
Well, that is Nintendo doing that for their own system. Nintendo is going to wind up helping their own system a bunch by making games like Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time.
But that's not a definite, though, right?
Yeah, well, Ocarina of Time is a definite.
Okay.
They're also working on Mega Man Legends 3, which will also convince me to buy this thing eventually. I like Mega Man Legends a lot, and I'm very excited for Mega Man Legends 3.
I liked Mega Man Legends. I thought it could have done some improving that Mega Man Legends 2 did not do, but
Have you played Mega Man Legends 2? Because I thought you hadn't.
Happened.
You should play it. It is an improvement over the first one. I mean...
How are the controls?
It controls similar to a first-person shooter or a third-person action game, where you control the camera with the other thumbstick.
That's good, thank God. But I've seen the
camera
graphics.
Controls are still sluggish, but it's a lot better in every conceivable way. It's a huge help.
I saw the graphics. They're still pretty blocky. I mean, not that I'm too keen on.
To be fair, it's a PlayStation
anyway.
1 game. To be fair to it, that's expected to be blocky. You guys want to move on to the next topic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to be outdone by Sony, Square Enix decided to get hacked as well.
Wait, Square Enix?
Square got hacked, yes. And this is stupid. This is stupid. They hacked the Square Enix Deus Ex Human Revolution website.
They actually hacked themselves just to fit in.
Wait, what?
No, but that would be awesome.
I don't know what the topic is. Like, what about the website?
Square Enix, they're producing. They're not developing. IDOS is producing the game, but IDOS is owned by Square Enix, so the game will be released through Square Enix.
Okay.
The Deus Ex Human Revolution website was hacked, and all that the hackers got out of this was 25,000 emails. If you're going to hack Square Enix, why don't you hack their Final Fantasy XI servers? You get a shitload of information and credit card numbers by doing that.
Yeah, doesn't Howie play Final Fantasy XI?
Yep.
Yeah, I know a lot of people still do. Wait, how old is 11 now?
Oh god, 11 came out when I was still in...
I thought 11 came out in 03 or 04,
yeah.
But don't quote me on that.
But I know 11 is still pretty popular among the fans, so...
I've never even seen it, to be honest.
Well, neither have I, but I know Howard was talking about it. He says still, a lot of people who are playing it from day one are still playing it today.
Yeah, it has, you hack those servers, you're going to get hundreds of thousands, probably millions of credit card numbers from that. So why would you fool around with 25,000 email addresses from the Deus Ex website that does not request any basically any other information besides an email
probably because they're
address?
not trying to steal information, they're probably just doing
trying
it
to
for
bring
attention.
down the company.
They're probably just trying to get attention.
If they even touch any of the credit cards, that's serious jail time that they're looking at.
And then you're looking at FBI and Homeland Security and whoever else.
Yeah, probably Anonymous is going to have them after him now.
Yeah. Well, no, you know what's going to happen? They're eventually going to get them, and they're going to find out how talented these guys actually are, and they're going to be like, okay, well, you can either go to jail for 40 years, or you can work for us for the next 10 years, and they're going to probably end up working for the FBI or whatever.
Yeah. I just don't see the point in hacking. And what could you do with 25,000 email addresses? What can you do?
Besides denial of service attacks out the wazoo.
Wait, have you not seen the first Futurama movie? What can't you do with 25,000 email addresses?
What can't we do with an acre of land?
I'm about to win the Spanish National Lottery.
I can afford to give away anything.
Yes, scam.
Lose weight with space parasite 7XQ? Phony! Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I suppose they could sell all these email addresses to spam websites and make money that way. Or something like that.
That's like saying, well, you could kind of sell Coke to a Coke website. I don't think spammers actually address themselves hey, we're spammers, hi!
And
it would be illegal.
Well, you know what I mean, advertising.
Like their Salvation Army or something. Just drop off your emails here.
Spam-vertising websites get their emails from somewhere. You don't sign up for their website, but then you get 5 billion emails asking you about your penis size.
It's a gray market.
Chances are either that whoever hacked it already knew someone who could use it, or they themselves are spammers, so...
I have to wonder, though. This is the third hacking-related story we've done in the last about a month. With 2 of them were Sony-related. This one's not Sony-related, but are hackers specifically targeting gamers now for some strange reason?
Maybe it's a supercomputer in DC that was playing Bad Company 2 online, and it got owned by a 12-year-old.
It was Ed. It was Ed and her dog Ein.
And the supercomputer got called a whole bunch of racial slurs after getting owned, and it's like, no, fuck this, I'm hacking the shit out of
Some
shit.
13-year-old called him gay.
No, maybe it's the president, and he started trying to take up. Maybe President Obama started trying to take up Metal Gear Online, and he got called one too many racial slurs. That's bad. I apologize.
No, it's true. If you played Metal Gear Online, it's like it gets ridiculous the amount of trash talking that goes online. I always said the one thing they need to take out of that game is they need to get rid of the text chatting, unless it's like a custom game and it specifically says before you go in that text chatting is enabled, because it should not be standard. Especially like during the official games, like survival in tournament matches.
You get a headset, all you get is racial slurs in your ear.
Well, no. Besides, it's not. Honestly, a lot of people are less likely to say it, or more likely to text something mean than to actually say it, to have the balls. But regardless of that, yeah, we have heard people say shit over the mics too.
Fucking noob.
But
fuck you,
you
fucking queer.
not-
Go fuck yourself.
You guys are bad.
When you play the official match,
Exactly.
when you're playing online with a mic, though, only your team can hear you, not the enemy team. But with chat, you can chat with the enemy team. And that's fine for the regular gameplay, you know, but when you're doing official matches, you should not be able to talk with the team unless it's before or after the match. Because I can't tell you how many times people would trash talk, like have macros of trash talk just to distract the other team so that they could, like, quickly rush them and get headshots, because everyone on the other team is like, oh, you want to trash talk me? Well, I'll trash talk you back, and while they're typing, they get killed. Like, it should not be part of the game, as simple as that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how we got on this.
They never put up an indication or anything like, if you're typing, then I've seen some games, if you're typing, it puts like a symbol above your head to let people know that you're typing. And back in the day, I don't know how that is anymore, but back in the day, people would respect that and they wouldn't kill you.
Right, but you're talking about, well, MGO is an action third-person shooter type game, and honestly,
And a lot of fun.
There's no symbol for it, but you can always tell, especially when someone all of a sudden stops in the middle of the street and is just standing there. It's obvious they're typing, because if you kill them, if they're halfway with a sentence, they die, and half a sentence appears on the chat screen, and then they get pissed.
Man, that would be
It's
worth.
retarded.
That would be worth. That'd be worth killing just to see that.
Well, no, the one thing MGO is good at that a lot of games I don't think have is, even without anyone talking, there are a hell of a lot of funny moments just with the way the characters move and everything, and just all the stuff Hideo Kojima puts in his games, like the boxes.
He's got a good
like
sense.
that.
Hideo Kojima's always had a good sense of humor
Right.
about his games. All you need to do is put in the second disc of a Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence to know that.
Right. And it's just that was the one thing MGO was good at, was the laughs.
He does put those little Easter eggs in his
I
games,
loved Metal Gear Raiden Snake Eraser. That was so awesome.
Anyway, what's
I'm
the
playing through Metal Gear Solid 2 right now. I just got to the part where you gotta snipe all those servos so you don't blow up when you cross the bridge. And I shot down a whole bunch of...
How are you liking it so far?
I'm liking it. I passed Fat Man.
Oh yeah,
How'd you beat Fat Man, by the way?
Oh, it was easy as pie. I'm playing through it on easy mode because I really just want to get through 2 so I can play 3.
3's a better game.
That's what I hear.
Well, by the way, can he borrow your copy for that? Because I have the original, and nothing sucks more than when you're sneaking through a jungle and you don't realize there's a guy right next to you, and all of a sudden, whoop, alert! You're like, who the hell just spotted me? Oh, wait, there's a guy next to me. I couldn't tell because I have a fixed camera angle. I mean, it worked in 1 and 2, but you had a radar that showed you where all the enemies were. In 3, you don't have that.
Yeah, you can borrow my. I've got the version with the 3D camera, so you can rotate it freely. And believe me, that's a vast improvement to the game. You want that.
Yeah.
The original game was still really, really, really good, but it is so much better with that new camera angle. It cuts out so much
Tim's telling
frustration.
me.
Yeah, I'm playing with the fixed camera angle on extreme, and you have no idea how difficult that is.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I'm done with 2, so then I can, borrow it. But I was killing all the birds. You know, when you have to snipe down all the servos that detonate the bombs.
Yeah.
And if you kill enough birds, Colonel calls you. And he's
And
like,
bitches at you about it.
at you. What are you, some kind of madman? And then you try to save, and
I
your
love that.
girlfriend
Friend
yells
is like,
at you.
I won't let you save.
I'm not doing it. No. Your 2 options are don't save
And I won't make you save.
I won't make you save. It's
I don't-
only Hideo Kojima would know the joys of getting your girlfriend to be mad at you for something that's funny.
Have you seen Metal Gear Raiden Snake Eraser?
Yes, I did. I saw it
Fucking
when
awesome.
I borrowed your copy of 3.
Oh, when did I let you borrow my copy of 3?
You originally let me borrow it so I could play the original Metal Gears, but
Oh yeah, Metal
I
Gear
got-
2 was well worth it.
I was going through the first one, and I, even with, online help, I ended up getting so frustrated with it. It's so simple.
At least
Yeah,
play through Metal Gear 2.
But
At least play through
eventually,
Metal Gear.
I got so pissed with it.
1
I was
billion.
just like, I'm done with this. I'm like, I got Metal Gear Solid through 4, that's all I need. Anyway,
You guys want to move on to the next
Yep.
topic, or should we wait for Alex to get back?
he's peeing and lighting my cigarette at the same time.
You trust a
He's
man who
peeing
does
on your
that?
cigarette?
He's not actually doing that at the
He's
same
peeing
time.
on your
You
cigarette?
wouldn't know.
It's Alex. You can trust Alex. If you gave Alex a bag of cocaine and your baby, you could trust him. I don't know why I use that as an example.
That's a good example.
Why would
Right.
you give out?
That's a
Why
good
would you have
example.
a bag of cocaine and a baby?
Why? Well,
Crack baby food.
I'm not saying I'm
The
giving
fact
cocaine
is
to
that
the
if
baby.
he had a bag of cocaine and a baby,
No. You could give it to Alex, trust him to take care of the baby, and not take any of your cocaine.
or give the baby cocaine.
Yeah, that either. I don't know
Can you
why
imagine a baby
anyone
on
would do
cocaine?
that, but
Can you imagine a baby on cocaine? They have a serious
it's
attitude.
bad enough when they're on sugar. It's like they are on cocaine.
Are
Anyway,
you saying babies take sugar up their nose?
I did when I was
some
a
of
kid.
them, yeah, some of them. Have you ever seen them do a faceplant into a cake? They do it, man. They just go. They snort that shit. They get
Alex
however
better
they
hurry
can.
up and get back, because I'm really looking forward to talking about this next topic and how ridiculous it is. It relates to Duke Nukem.
Oh wait, did you see that trailer when they pushed back the date again from May 3rd to June 15th? Did you see that trailer?
I possibly. We
Uh,
probably talked about it on the
okay.
podcast.
It was, I don't know if you did, but I remember laughing hysterically because I saw it, and it was literally 5 days before it was supposed to come out, and, oh, thank you. And so it was 5 days before Duke Nukem comes out, and they pushed it back again. And the director for the game actually was he was talking about how excited he was that it was finally coming out, as they put in postponed to June 15th behind his back, and he just stops and turns around and flips out and starts cursing, and there's all a bunch of bleeps. It was.
What is this? What is this?
This
Duke
was
Nukem
Duke
Forever.
Nukem. It was about to come out in 5 days.
Which was
and they-
announced in
They
1998.
put out a trailer that it was being pushed back from May 3rd to June 15th. But anyway,
Who started flipping out though?
the director of the game.
Is there a video?
Yes, it's a
Oh,
trailer.
beautiful.
We'll have to watch it later.
But, real
we're in
quick.
the middle of a podcast. Go ahead.
Oh, I know. Just real quick pertaining to this. It was in the middle of May. We were I think it was Target, we were in. And my brother was looking at the games. He's like, wait a minute. Duke Nukem's supposed to be out now. Where is it? I actually want to buy that. And I was like, yeah, they postponed it again. He was just like, what? he didn't know about that either. He flipped out. But, okay.
Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox Software, who is releasing the upcoming Duke Nukem game, said that Duke Nukem almost had a gay robot sidekick.
That would have been awesome.
Let
I
me-
just want to say that.
Okay. He said this was an attempt to see how Duke would react to a gay character. Somehow I can picture Duke relentlessly making fun of this guy for being gay.
Honestly, I don't think so. I think Duke Nukem, he's a badass, but he's a cool guy.
And a womanizer.
Well, I mean, look at it. Look at what... Well, yeah, he's a sex fiend himself, but he's not necessarily a homophobe.
Well, he's a sex fiend, but that doesn't mean the gay robot... Well, the idea of a gay robot is a little weird in and of itself.
So you're gay, huh? More women for me.
How many dick jokes are there in that game, and probably how many times they do show...
Lesbian, huh? That just means she likes what I like.
Oh! Well, seriously, like, even in the trailer, it shows, like, it's blurred out, but it's probably not blurred out in the actual game.
Well, when he's taking a piss?
Yeah. I bet you in the actual game, there's probably an option
I don't want to see Duke
out.
swing. I really
Yeah,
Exactly.
dude, pissing is one thing. Like, sex is one thing. Pissing is, like, nobody wants to see that.
Unless that's your thing.
Some people do.
Yeah.
Even if that's your thing, like, no.
Oh, I mean,
The
in the
general
original
masses,
game,
No one wants to know that it's your thing.
Unless you're R. Kelly.
in
Yeah.
I wanna be on you. Drip,
Drip, drip,
okay.
Anyway, in the original Duke Nukem 3D, you could go up to urinals, and then he would just kind of like his gun would go away, and then you would hear pH sounds, and
Right.
you'd go, much better, and then you'd walk away, and the
Right.
flush would happen. It didn't show it; it just hinted at it.
Right. Well, I honestly don't know if they'll actually uncensor it or not, but I wouldn't be surprised because I think they're kind of going balls to the wall with the new one, considering how long it took to come out.
Yeah, you
And
can,
look
if
at-
you want to go balls to the walls, put blood and tits in your game, not piss.
Look at what has become more acceptable over the years, and a lot of it I actually blame two things on: South Park and GTA. Seriously.
Grand Theft Auto is like, it's been taken over by other things, by like Gears of War and Call of Duty and
Exactly,
stuff like
but
that.
it helped
Grand
pave
Theft
the
Auto
way
is no
in
longer
games.
the place taker.
You said duty.
Seriously, do you think some of the humor that's
yes,
in,
duty,
like,
quick
for
flip
instance, just like Family Guy would be acceptable if South Park hadn't done it first? Think about it.
Somehow, I doubt that if South Park didn't exist first, people would
be yelling about
be,
Family Guy.
so creeped out about. Nobody seems to be creeped out that there's a gay cross-dressing 1-year-old on that show.
On what now?
Family Guy.
Yeah, Stewie's bi-curious.
Yeah, like, they only did it, like, in one episode, but it's become
Who
more
wants to
like
have sex
a
with the
normal
family
thing
dog,
now.
by the way?
Wait, Stewie has a thing for Brian now?
Yeah.
It,
I mean, I know
They're
Brian
the
is
only-
like over-sexualized, which is kind of
not
funny.
really.
No, Brian
Well, they
hooks up
turned
with
Brian-
celebrities.
Actually, yeah, Brian has only been with,
Brian-
like 4 women throughout the show?
Well, don't
There's
they,
an
like,
episode where he dated Lois. I was like, what?
Well, that's because he's always had a thing for Lois, and that was, like, from, I think, the first season, actually. Yeah.
Well, he dated, what was her name? Jillian, and she was like an idiot.
Yeah. Who was she voiced by again? Was it Reese Witherspoon or something? Or
I don't remember.
I forget. Someone who they typically, like, they try to portray as an idiot, but she's actually... Yeah, just don't make it as wet as a swimming pool again.
Nobody knows what you said that in reference to.
Oh, my cigarette. Alex lit my cigarette for me, he hands it back to me, and, like, it felt like I was drinking a glass of water.
I can't help it! I'm watching
Anyway.
Sorry, Alex.
So what the hell does a gay robot like? I
I'm
mean,
sorry, gay
does a gay robot take interest in other male robots? Or
There's a
what?
big difference between gay and flamboyant.
That's true.
Well,
That's
I'm
true.
not saying he's a flamboyant robot,
I think
but does
if
he
he was-
take interest in other male robots specifically? or-
He prefers screwdrivers over toasters.
Ooh, maybe like maybe the whole point behind a gay robot is he would have to be flamboyant.
Nice.
I don't know.
I don't know. Considering it's Duke Nukem, would you be surprised if they made him flamboyant?
I
and
would
had to
actually
make fun of
imagine
him?
robots to
Lord.
be naturally flamboyant, seeing as they don't have a gender at all.
True.
Which is
Unless
also,
You would
it's
actually have
also
to
kind of a weird
program
thing
it
that they-
specifically to not be
See,
flamboyant, to be
Yeah,
manly
that's
or
it.
feminine.
Somebody would have had to have programmed this freaking robot to be male and gay.
Well, no. They had to build him to be male, but if it's an AI, technically AI has free will. They would have to build it with a gender, program sexuality as part of it, it being a sexual being, in a sense, having a sexuality.
Why would they do
But
that?
being gay would still be his
Well,
choice, though.
Douglas Adams once said for a machine to really think, it has to want, it has to have desire.
True, so you'd have to put the sexual desire in the machine.
They can have desires that aren't sexual, though. But why
Yeah.
would you program sexual desire into the damn thing?
'Cause that's cool.
The only way I can see that is eventually
Because
we build...
you're a pervert and you want a robot to have
Because
sex with you?
90% of the human psyche is revolved around sex. So
Right.
for it to relate to us, it has to know exactly what we're talking about. 60, you think?
You don't have a microphone.
60-90.
Well, according to Freud, all our actions are based around sex and death, so...
Sex and dollars.
Death.
Sexy death.
Violent pornography.
So I said, what is it?
Sodomy.
And Cranky Big Head Mousy said, it's a Death Star. So I said, what does it do? And Cranky Big Head Mousy said,
It does death!
So Cranky Big Head Mousy gave me a present for being so smart.
Do you see that portal on the wall, Elmira? That's the magical portal to Bunnyland.
Anyway, so...
It just sounded like... You totally just sounded like a Beatles acid trip there. That's the magical portal to Bunnyland.
Would you like
Welcome-
some more acid?
Welcome to your
So do
LSD
we
trip.
actually have anything else
Yes,
to
we
say
are the
on
Beatles.
topic itself, though?
I don't know. We only have one other topic left.
No, I mean the one we were talking
I think we
about.
could say...
Robots.
Yeah.
I think we could say...
The
Oingo
idea of
boingo
a gay
lollipop
robot
salad.
is just kind of strange.
I know it does seem out of place with Duke Nukem, but
And
I'm
it does
sure-
seem out of place.
I'm
with
sure
Duke
they
Nukem.
could make it work. I could see it working. But whether they
It
should
wasn't
or
a
not,
big thing with gamers
whatever.
back then, but gamers now will be able to understand it a little
Yeah.
better.
Well, my first reaction to this was kind of like, what the hell? That's kind of odd. I didn't like the idea, I didn't hate it, I just kind of like, that's weird.
So he's gonna be like the new AI from the new Portal, the second Portal. What's that character's name?
Wheatley.
Wheatley. I guess you could call him
Wheatley's kind of a moron.
flamboyant.
No, he's not flamboyant, he's like British.
He's like... He's foppish. He's
I
not
thought,
flamboyant.
I thought
He's
all
like
British
he's-
people were flamboyant.
Yeah, those are synonyms.
That's Japanese people. It's true. Have you seen the freaking, like, the
No,
Japanese
they're not.
dull banana commercials?
Have you seen
God.
Gacked?
Dude, I swear.
No, have you seen Tokyo Drift? They're not all
No,
flamboyant.
wait, seriously.
You see them huddle around and like walk down the streets here. They're all dressed up as like hipsters.
No,
you know?
no,
They're
I
all,
swear.
Japanese people, you know how we have, like, a fascination with, like, girl fights? They have a fascination with, like, flamers. I could almost
Yeah,
swear.
they do. And I swear to God, the thing about the Japanese is every Japanese person I met in real life, they're either one of the polar opposites.
You never met a Japanese person. In real
Screw
life.
you! I have two. I
Like
met.
who? Jackie? She's been to Japan.
She's not Japanese.
She's what, Hispanic?
Yeah, she's like half Puerto Rican, half
Exactly.
black.
You've never met a
She
Japanese
does
Will
person
you
in real
stop
life.
talking
She does
for one
look
second?
Canadian,
Let me
though.
finish. Yeah,
Nathan-
I have.
Nathan, just stop talking.
Whether it's someone I met in real life or someone on TV, like my experience is Japanese people, they're either they're one of polar opposite. They're plain cut Jane, like love their ordinary lives. They don't have much of anything interesting to talk about, or they're extremely flamboyant. It seems like they're always one or the other.
It's because they come to America for one of two reasons, either to make their parents proud or to get away from their parents.
Well, like also if you look at Japan, it's like everyone, like how they act and everyone on the streets. It's just like
This isn't the issue at hand, though. The issue at hand is,
Duke Nukem was
Tim,
going to have a gay robot.
Tim,
but he
how
didn't.
many Asian people do you actually know? Personally.
you mean like do I talk to you on a regular basis?
No, I mean, have
Like,
you? Okay, well, there you go.
Like, the first person I met that was actually from Japan was, like, in junior high.
The issue is Duke Nukem.
I only knew
gay
one
robots.
Japanese person throughout all of grade school. I mean, most of the Asians around here are either Chinese or Korean, occasionally Vietnamese.
I forget
Well,
her
they're Korean,
name,
They're
but,
probably from, like, trying to get the hell out of North Korea.
No, I don't know any North Koreans.
I forget her name. She was one of the extremely, like traditional
Blame him for
types.
wanting to get out of North
She was
Korea.
an exchange student in Mr. Spong's class, actually. She was from
Huh.
Japan.
Do you remember her name?
What? Ian, what's her...
Spong?
Spong, Mr. Spong.
Yes, if you take the S away, it's Pong. If you put an E at the end, it's Sponge. I've heard it all.
Yeah.
Okay,
But what's her name? Fuki? No, yeah.
I wasn't in your class with
Oh
Mr.
my God.
Spong. I took that class
I
after
have
you.
to hear this story before we
Actually,
move on.
I think it was when I was a senior project. But anyway,
Okay, can I
real
tell-
quick. There's tons of stories I could tell on Mr. Spong, but one of the best had to be was the one day I got there, I missed the bus.
This was a class that was at a separate building. It was at the administrative building. It was an animation lab.
Right. So, and it was
Or
the
video
first
lab.
class of the day. So I get there, I walk to school, walk there. I'm standing there waiting for the bus. Apparently it decided to be on the opposite end of where it normally is sitting. So I'm standing there and just waiting for the bus. I'm looking at the time. I'm where is it? And I see no one else. All of a sudden a bus goes by me. And I look as it's pulling away out onto the road. And it's the bus number of the bus I was supposed to be on. And I was just what? And so I go inside, I find my cell phone, I call my teacher, Mr. Spong. He actually gave me his personal number, and of course he didn't pick up, and I just left a message, hey, it's Tim, blah, 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 I missed the bus, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you're going to be pissed at me, but yeah, just a message, whatever.
Showed this to me
And
the day it happened.
So I'm walking on my way over to D-Pad's house after it happened, after school was over, and I'm walking,
That was
I'm like,
D-Pad's house, but not Game Faces.
Damn straight. Oh, and also Alex, your mom.
well, I actually don't remember if
But not my
Game
mom.
Face was living there at the time, or if he was at college. Were you?
I think because you
okay.
showed that to me
I'm
the day
sorry.
that it happened.
Game
Yeah.
Face and D-Pad's house, whatever. I was on the way over.
No, it's just D-Pad's house, not Game
Exactly.
Faces.
Let
Also,
me tell the story!
Game Face,
This
your
is a
mom.
funny story, seriously.
Okay, so I'm walking over. Oh, voicemail. It's Mr. Spong. It says, you have one new voicemail from Mr. Spong. And it's just and it plays, and all it is, you're an idiot. End of message.
He forwarded it to me somehow, and he goes, it was Cycrojan's voice going, this is what my mentor thinks of me. You're an idiot. End of message.
Okay, so, you guys want to get to the last topic?
No, but I think we're gonna have to,
Yeah.
if we can leave here alive.
Okay, yesterday afternoon or evening, I'm not sure which, you might have noticed that the PlayStation Network went back online.
Yay! Okay.
And I
Wait a minute. So, grand total, how long did it take? How long was it down? This will go down in history, you
3
guys.
weeks, I think. Maybe
3
4.
weeks.
At least.
PlayStation. Wow, they made it for 3 weeks. I'm go hacker. I'm rooting for them.
Okay,
this is stuff
whoa.
that our kids are going to be
They
reading
attack-
about.
They
and
attack people like you.
Okay.
I'll
wait,
take a fall.
Let him
I'll
finish.
take a fall
Let
for
him finish the
history.
topic first, then you can talk about it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to double check and make sure everything was good. I don't think all of the services are back yet. I don't think the PlayStation Store and Curiosity and all that kind of stuff is back online yet. What the hell was that? You just almost knocked over my beer.
That scared the crap out of me.
Anyway,
But I went and I got online and I downloaded the update. It prompted me when I tried to sign in after that. It prompted me to change my password. I did, and I got online on Mag and played around. So online play is back. The most important feature is back up, and apparently it's going to take a little bit of time to get the rest of it back up. But for the now, the most important feature is back up.
can you still send messages between PSN friends?
I haven't tried that yet,
Okay.
but as far as I
Oh God, you're both being fat.
I'm trying.
Anyway. Well, no. At least. Oh my God, Drew's here.
Hey, Drew.
What's up?
You want to say hi?
Yo, it's cold. It's kind of cold outside.
Really?
Yeah,
It's warm all day.
it's all moist and stuff.
It must. Yeah, it must.
You said
probably
moist.
Moist.
And Dr. Drew
Anyway.
just walked in, apparently.
Mandrew.
We all,
Yeah,
we didn't
the
think it was
Mandrew.
coming.
That's the new nickname I gave him. The Mandrew.
Sounds like you got the cold now.
Well, we got.
Yeah, my voice sucks for this, but I'm doing it anyway.
Anyway.
Dude, I hope we don't get the cold before Wednesday. I'm going to Seattle now.
Okay, real quick to make fun of D-Pad. like giving props to Anonymous. Ooh, 3 weeks. It's not like they were constantly hacking it for 3 weeks and it was a marathon.
No, I just find it funny that Sony
it took 3 weeks.
3 weeks for
It took
them to
3
get
weeks
their
for
system back
Sony
up.
to literally rebuild, reprogram it from the ground up, and consider the fact that they probably took more than 3 months to design the original one. So props to Sony for managing to reprogram the entire.
They should have had that shit backed up and added different locations.
But what-
Lockdown double overtime.
Exactly.
What they had to do was they had to rebuild their entire security system to try to
Yeah.
make sure this doesn't happen again.
They
And
probably
they did.
have a
They
copy of
reprogrammed
it.
an entire new security system, and that's
Okay.
why there's an update.
Alright. They probably had a security system beforehand, but it was never successful enough to get past an attack like this, and the first people to do that attack was Anonymous, and I'm glad they did. Because now
I would
they
have
know
punched
that
Anonymous.
Why?
And
they're
it's-
serious. They're people... Do you know what Anonymous is compromised of? Just people like us.
No,
don't have
no,
anything better to
This
do?
isn't actually Anonymous. This is a group
No,
that
no.
are calling themselves Anonymous, so they are not actually Anonymous.
That's even better.
So-
no, it's
so
a group
Anonymous?
of douchebags.
It's not. I bet you it's
So
not
Anonymous?
even a group.
What have they done that's so awesome that it
I
proves
bet you it's not
something?
even a group.
What
Anonymous.
they-
Anonymous even exists just to annoy people because they can.
Yeah. What's
And
this
they've
prove?
said that
Anonymous
before.
doesn't do anything positive. That's the only worthwhile thing I would say they've ever done is they protested Scientology and all
Yeah.
that bullshit lies.
Yeah, but who cares?
Now, if they hacked like the Westboro Baptist Church, yeah, that would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, why don't you get on that,
They got to
Anonymous?
hack.
What has
Because the world already hates them, and they don't think they need any other extra. Yeah,
and well, no, not
yeah,
just
yeah.
that.
Those folks.
They've given a bad name to the Baptists out there that are actually nice people. It aren't like, well, we're retards.
Someone I know is a
that to all
Baptist. I can't think of who
Christians
though. Wait, weren't you like raised as a Baptist?
Yes.
That's right.
There's a big. I remember this week in the Sunday paper. There's a big article in the review and opinion section that was actually written by a not a preacher, like someone from a Baptist church in Shippensburg, because minister, I guess. Yeah, because
I think preacher sounds right.
because a lot of they even
Son of a preacher man.
they've got a lot of people coming there, like, asking them questions about the Westboro Church and, like, why they specifically hate people, and it's like, people don't understand that all Baptists don't act this way. It's like, this is one
Do
extremist
people really
church.
think that? Everybody thinks of Baptist. When I think of Baptist personally, I think of the primarily. The primarily black churches that are really, really energetic.
Right.
I never thought anything. It's food, Dr. Drew. It's food. I never thought anything negative of them, except maybe that they were a little bit kooky, but not in a bad way.
The only
Do
group,
people really think that?
the only group that I thought as a whole was really kind of radical, but not in a really, like, who cares way, was what's it called, Evangelius, or whatever they're called.
Ryan Graney.
You mean
Yeah,
evangelicals?
Yes, them.
Yeah, but there's there's different flavors of evangelicalism.
Evangelism.
But
Yeah, we'll go with the
An electronic. Never mind.
But my point was,
electronic vaginalism.
well, my point was,
Sign me up for that.
Word.
Fuck yeah. Bring it back to the sexy video game.
I'm happy that the PlayStation Network is back up. I mean, I got to play around a mag. It was a lot of fun. Probably going to play a bunch more because I really enjoyed that game. I kind of miss being able to play it.
I gotta say, I really hated sniping in that game, though.
Well, I don't really snipe. I just machine gun people.
Yeah, I noticed almost no one does because of that reason, that the sniping mechanic is total bullshit.
Speaking of getting sniped, are there any beers around here?
Yeah,
There's beer behind him.
I know. I just
brought
wanted
them in.
to tip. I just wanted to tip the hat to Red versus Blue. But now that there's a beer in my face, I'm going to partake.
Oh, well, I'm glad I'm
Change
not
your name
over
to
there. There's
Beer
a
Face.
tank attacking everything over there. Speaking of getting tanked, I wonder if they have any beer around here. I love you, Red versus Blue. You're awesome.
so DuckTales.
Fuck yes.
DuckTales is the man.
I like Darkwing Duck better.
Yeah, Darkwing Duck was the shit, son.
Oh, guess what I'm getting?
Darkwing Duck?
No, something even fucking more 90s and better.
Tailspin?
I'm getting Pete and Pete on DVD.
Yes! Bring it over here and we'll fucking watch that
Fuck
shit.
yeah, marathon that shit.
I have not YouTubed that or anything. I have not seen Pete and Pete since it was actually on TV in the 90s.
Last time I saw it was when I was working at a West Coast Video. One of the employees brought a DVD set and went home and put it on TV.
I watched a couple episodes of Pete and Pete in college, and I realized that Artie is a lot creepier when you see him as an adult. He's that 40-year-old guy who plays with 5-year-olds.
Did you know?
He was a kid at heart, number one, and number two, he was the strongest man in the world.
Yeah.
He was the strongest man in the world.
If I was the strongest man in the world, the only thing I could possibly think about doing is, showing off in front of, wow, that does sound really creepy.
but key thing here, I also already have the soundtrack by Polaris, and it's phenomenal. So good. There's harmonicas and 90s riffs all over the place.
Steve Buscemi was in one of the episodes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Which one?
Fuck yeah.
One day before band practice, I actually watched Pete and Pete while American Football played on my vinyl, like on my record player. It was the most 90s experience ever.
You should have been listening to an 8-track tape.
That's not 90s.
Did you guys ever see any of the shorts? Like,
could have been a
before
tape.
Pete and Pete was a show. It was just like
I did see that, and they made so little sense. Like,
it was so
Yeah, but
censored.
that was
Yeah,
so.
but
They
they
had
were
like
awesome, though.
they made a machine for like little Pete to belch into, and he started like perfecting different ways to burp, and then like they get away with that, so he burped into a bag, and it's like, what?
Remember their car they were building?
Vaguely.
It was just like he was sitting there and holding a steering wheel and like had a kitchen table chair.
Yeah.
That was their car.
I remember telling my older relatives about Pete and Pete. It's like, what are you watching in here? Pete and Pete? What? Pete and repeat? Anybody get that?
And I remember his
No,
dad,
that's what they thought. That's what they thought I was saying.
his dad used the metal detector to find a car underneath the sand on the beach.
What kind of car was it?
I don't remember.
It was a Cutlass Supreme.
I didn't remember that.
I thought you were gonna say Volvo.
That would be win sauce.
You can't kill a Volvo. I learned this.
Does anybody remember Paper Cut?
I used to know.
Paper Cut, yeah, the arch
Cut.
nemesis
Yeah.
of
When you played him in rock, paper, scissors, he always threw paper.
and everybody
he
was
beat
too afraid
everybody.
to throw scissors.
Wow.
Because he could fold up. He could fold up a paper ninja star and throw it at you, and it'd be sharp enough to cut you. But if you threw one at Artie, he'd eat it.
Yeah,
Because
he was the
could do
strongest man in the world.
that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good show.
You know that? The show came out in like 93.
Can you believe that?
So old.
Now, query, when did Are You Afraid of the Dark come out?
Probably like
Earlier than that.
No, probably like 93, 94.
Because I remember seeing the first episode of it, and the first episode was not all that good, but dang, I loved what followed it.
Erie, Indiana.
That's Sato! Sato! No mister. Accent
What
on
was the name of their
toe.
secret society?
What was it? What was the name of their secret society? It was like the campfire society.
I know they always sit around a campfire, and then
the midnight something.
and you'd have
The
you'd have to
Midnight
get
Society.
voted in, and you'd have to tell a story, and if it was scary enough, you got voted in.
Was there ever a
I think it was
character?
the Midnight Society.
I don't.
The Midnight Society.
I'm pretty sure that was it, yeah.
I just realized I can't think of how we went from PlayStation Network to Pete and Pete.
I can't think of how we
Mandrew happened.
I can't think of how we went from the 90s into the 2000s, but then it occurred to me, SpongeBob SquarePants.
I hate SpongeBob.
I will watch that show and I will chuckle at it, but you can't, compared to what, Nickelodeon used to be prior to maybe up until 1997.
About their last
And then it
show
turned
that
to
I
poo.
thought was really, really good was Invader Zim.
I
liked me some Invader Zim.
I always felt that Nickelodeon and SpongeBob was like trying to steal the formula like of the late cartoons in the 90s from Cartoon Network, like Johnny Bravo, Ed, Ed, and
Johnny Bravo was awesome.
Me and Sean spent like one summer doing nothing but watching Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
It was good!
Buttered toast.
Ed, and Eddie was hysterical.
Oh God, it's a tub full of
Johnny
gravy.
Bravo, god damn it. I love me some Johnny Bravo. That show was awesome. And you remember I used to do that like radio show on the TV that was JBVO. You remember that? No. You don't remember JBVO?
Does anybody remember Toonami? Like that robot that would come out?
Yeah, Toonami! And then Toonami turned into Toonami Midnight Run, which then turned into Adult Swim.
Right.
Toonami was where I used to always watch Gundam Wig.
Gundam Wig, yeah.
Gundam Wig was amazing.
I remember with Duo Maxwell. And,
yes. He had the best Gundam.
The Scythe? Yeah, I have the figurine. I have the little
swear
figurine.
to God,
that
I'm the only
Epion.
one. I'm the only one who didn't like that show when it was on, and I still don't.
I love Gundam Wig.
If you could, especially later on when I saw some of the more original Gundams, especially the very first, like if you seriously, it's like in a sense it's like way more retarded than like DBZ or Naruto in ways. Like literally, they would just stand there, everyone's firing at them, and they just walk up and be like, "Slice, you're dead." What? These guys don't know how to dodge or run away? What the? Like, I seriously did not like Gundam
I
Wig.
liked it simply out of nostalgia because when I first kind of quote-unquote discovered anime back in 1999, which would have been 8th grade for me, I went to the comic book store and I didn't buy manga as, the anime purists would mandate, but I bought American-style comic book forms of manga, blown up and flipped to the, the left to right orientation. And the first one I picked up was Gundam Wig.
Yeah.
And
The original Gundam was awesome.
I didn't, in retrospect, if I went back and read it, I probably wouldn't have liked it that much.
Right.
But at the time, I thought it was, hot crap on a Trisket.
Right,
I was so, obsessed with the concept that a cartoon could be epic.
Right,
And,
right.
I was, showing it to my parents, and my dad took one look at it, and he said, "There's hardly any dialogue in this. This is eye candy." So I was like,
Well, I don't know, I thought the biggest thing of all, which was, that I didn't like, was, there was the 5 main characters,
Did you
right?
like the original Gundam?
Oh, yes, I loved it. But there's the 5 main characters, right? And it was like, the main character was his name, Hiro?
Hiro Yui.
Yeah,
Hiro
Hiro Yui.
Yui.
It was like, well, I have an idea for the character for the main character. Okay, he has no personality. Let's go with
At
that.
all.
Yeah, and then
Normally they reserve that for the ass kicker who doesn't say a single word.
And then they're like, okay, for the rest of the characters, let's make him like Shinji from Neon Genesis Evangelion, except not a pussy. And it was like, everyone was just angsting all the time, and it was like...
Well, Troa was the far away the worst about angsting.
Who?
Troa.
Yeah,
Troa was my least favorite as well. It's Gundam. Fucking, once it ran out of bullets, it was practically useless.
He was the little kid, right? He was
No,
the
this
one
is
who was
William
younger.
Maxwell. Troa was the guy with the long, the bangs that came down to his shoulders. He was a clown. He was a professional clown.
Yeah. Like, he was the one who had Gatling
wasn't
guns
afraid
on
of
both
anything,
arms,
though.
the chest, the legs, everywhere. It's
His
just
kneecaps, his
he was
forehead,
basically
his
yeah.
eyeballs.
He's just a walking armory, basically.
And once he ran out of bullets, his Gundam was
It's
useless.
useless. Yeah, you know what he did?
Wu
You know,
Fei was cool.
yeah, you know what he did after he ran out of bullets? He smashed things with his guns. It was like, I don't know. I think Catra was the only one that actually had any kind of real character development.
Catra was more upbeat than the rest of them.
Right.
He was even more upbeat than Duo.
Right. He had Duo was just like, I'm trying to be funny, but I'm not.
It hurts because I'm funny.
But yeah, Catra actually had character development, and half the time I felt like he was actually the main character, But I don't know. Honestly, I think overall with the whole Gundam, all the Gundams, the best by far was 8th MS team. Which takes
You know
place
what's from the
during-
original Gundam?
Which takes place during the original Gundam, except on Earth instead of space.
You know what happened during the original Gundam? We're jumping on the white base! That was in the original Gundam.
Base! Base! Base!
We're passing around a VHS copy of Top Gun.
I have no idea why.
Yeah, neither do I. I don't.
We're a minute 5 into this. You guys want to cut it off?
Minute 5.
Say
Damn.
goodbye.
Okay.
Get back, fellas.
Okay, this has been another edition of Press the Action Button podcast on digital-delirium.com. As always, I am your host, Joystick. With me was Slackerchan. Say goodbye, Slackerchan.
I need an adult.
Joining very, very late in the podcast was Dr. Drew. Say goodbye, Dr. Drew.
Farewell. Damn it, I wasn't done. I'm gonna go watch Top Gun.
Also with us this week was Gameface. Say goodbye, Gameface. It's you, Alex.
Oh, Game Face! Hey, kids! If it's past midnight Central Time and you're still watching this podcast with your ears, call Child
music
Services.
is a visual medium.
Because music is a visual medium. Call Child Services and go to bed. Seriously now. Go to bed.
And D-Pad. Say goodbye, D-Pad.
I am an adult.
You guys sound like Tim Curry and It.
What's some curry now?
We haven't made curry in a while.
Alex, why haven't we made curry in a while?
Has anybody read the back of this box? You've had it for months, but have you read it?
No, it's freaking Top Gun. Why would I
Read it out loud.
Okay, folks, this is the show after the show tonight, a la CKY. A hip, heart-pounding, silence! Top Gun will speak. Freaking Tom Cruise-ophobe. A hip, heart-pound, you're the anti-Cruise, Joystick.
Yeah, you know why? Because he's a Scientologist. That's why.
I said,
It's worth it, trust me. Just let him read the box, it's great.
I said a hip, heart-pounding combination of action, music, and incredible aerial photography. I'm done. Okay. A hip, heart-pounding combination of action, music, and incredible aerial photography helped make Top Gun the blockbuster hit of 1986. That's not saying much. Top Gun takes a look at the danger and excitement that awaits every pilot at the Navy's prestigious fighter weapons school. Tom Cruise is superb as Maverick Mitchell, a daring young flyer who's out to become the best of the best. This sounds like Pokemon. And Kelly McGillis sizzles as the civilian instructor who teaches Maverick a few things you can't learn in a classroom. Hey, chicka-bop-bop. This sounds like Pokemon.
Gotta catch it.
Doesn't sound that is so 86. It's just so 86. It's like, yo.
You know what's also is 86?
Alex.
Mandrew.
I was actually born in 87.
Dang it!
No.
So
See,
close.
he is Mandrew's such an awesome name for him. He's down with the Mandrew.
Yeah, and you know what else the Mandrew's down with?
Don't say it.
The Coomp.
Oh, you're gonna say it. Okay, we're a minute 9. We gotta go. We'll talk to you guys next week on digital-delirium.com.
Shortest podcast ever.